Right now, if you get a headache, you walk to a cabinet, pop a scientifically engineered white pill, and go back to scrolling on your phone. You trust that pill. Why? Because it went through decades of clinical trials, microscopes, and FDA approvals. But how did humanity survive before laboratories? Out of the millions of plants on Earth, how did our ancestors figure out which leaf cures a fever and which leaf makes your kidneys immediately explode? Did they have some deep, spiritual connection to Mother Nature? No. They played biological Russian roulette. Every single life-saving natural medicine in history was discovered because a prehistoric ape ate a random weed, and the rest of the tribe just sat there, taking notes on whether or not he stopped breathing. Welcome back to the timeline. Let's check in on our prehistoric buddy, Bob. Bob has survived saber-toothed tigers. Bob survived the Ice Age. But today, Bob is facing the deadliest apex predator of the ancient world, a mild stomachache. In the modern world, a stomach bug means a day on the couch watching Netflix. In the Stone Age, a stomach bug is a death sentence. There are no hospitals, no antibiotics, and absolutely no hygiene. If Bob gets a paper cut from a flat 2D cartoon leaf, that cut gets infected with ancient mud, turns purple, and Bob gets permanently logged out of the server. So Bob needs a cure. But Bob doesn't know what a virus is. He doesn't know what bacteria is. As far as Bob is concerned, his stomach hurts because an invisible ghost punched him in the gut. He looks around his 2D cartoon jungle. There are 10,000 different plants. Some are food, some are medicine, and some contain neurotoxins that will paralyze your lungs in 3 seconds. What does Bob do? He activates the Guinea Pig Protocol. The scientific method of ancient medicine was incredibly simple. You eat it first, and if you don't die, I'll eat it. Bob rips off a red leaf. He chews it. Okay, the tribe makes a mental note. Red leaf equals aggressive vomiting. Do not use. Bob rips off a purple flower. He eats it. All right, purple flower causes intense hallucinations. We will save that one for the weekend religious ceremonies. Finally, Bob is on the verge of death. He crawls to a willow tree. He aggressively bites into the flat 2D tree bark. He chews the bitter, disgusting wood. His fever drops. The pain fades. Bob just survived. Did Bob just get lucky? Yes. Did he know he just consumed salicylic acid? No. But thousands of years later, modern scientists would synthesize that exact chemical from the willow tree to create aspirin. Bob didn't do science. Bob was just a desperate, starving animal who chewed on a tree, and humanity got a multi-billion-dollar painkiller out of it. But what happens when chewing on random leaves doesn't work? What if Bob has a severe migraine, or a mental illness, or a seizure? Well, if the leaves fail, humanity brings out the heavy machinery. Enter trepanation, the oldest surgical procedure in human history. Our ancestors believed that if you had a headache or were acting crazy, it was because an evil spirit was trapped inside your head. And the only logical solution was to drill a hole in your skull to let the demon out. I know what you're thinking. There is no way a prehistoric caveman survived brain surgery with a dirty rock. Here is the most terrifying plot twist in archaeological history. They did. Archaeologists have found thousands of trepan skulls all over the world, and a shocking number of them show signs of bone healing. That means the patient didn't just survive the drilling. They lived for years afterward. Imagine the absolute horror of Bob, wide awake, no anesthesia, just biting down on a 2D stick while his buddy scrapes a hole into his skull using a piece of flint. And the craziest part? The release of cranial pressure probably did temporarily cure the headache, convincing Bob that the demon had escaped. Eventually, Bob realizes something. Drilling holes is exhausting. Eating random, poisonous leaves is dangerous. But being the medicine man gives you a lot of power in the tribe. You get the best food, the best tent, and you don't have to hunt mammoths. So, Bob decides to invent the greatest medical hack of all time, the placebo effect. Bob stops risking his life with random plants. Instead, he puts on a mask, throws some colorful dirt in the air, chants a few made-up words, and gives the patient a completely useless ball of mud to swallow. And because the human brain is a gullible, easily manipulated machine, the patient believes the magic mud works. Their brain releases endorphins, their immune system gets a temporary boost, and they actually feel better. Bob just invented the first healthcare scam. He didn't cure the disease. He just tricked the patient's brain into doing the work for him. The shaman was born. Today, we look back at ancient medicine and laugh. We laugh at the Egyptians who put moldy bread on open wounds, until we realize they accidentally discovered the antibacterial properties of penicillin 3,000 years before Alexander Fleming. We laugh at the bone drilling and the leaf chewing. But the truth is, modern medicine isn't a miraculous invention that appeared out of nowhere. It is built on a massive, prehistoric graveyard. For every aspirin, for every herbal remedy that actually works, there are thousands of anonymous Bobs who ate the wrong berry, chewed the wrong root, or let their friend drill a hole in their head. We don't have modern healthcare because humans are smart. We have it because our ancestors were reckless enough to be the ultimate biological guinea pigs. If you are grateful you don't have to drill a hole in your skull for a migraine, hit that like button and subscribe to the Human Timeline. Let me know in the comments. What is the craziest home remedy your grandmother ever forced you to use? Stay healthy, don't eat random glowing leaves, and I'll see you in the next glitch in the timeline.
Goodbye.